Okay, so I'm at the point now where I got the drainage run as far as I can, and where it ends right there, I'm gonna exit the building and go that way. And so I'm gonna stay to the right of this tree, to the left of that tree, and there's a well right there. I need to stay to the left of that, so I'm going right there. It's kind of a narrow spot to get through, but this drainage is totally necessary, and it's not gonna work to put the drainage anywhere else because there's nowhere else that goes downhill from here. So I try to keep my drainage at 1/4 inch per foot. I believe by code you don't have to have that much, but it's a good idea to have at least 1/4 inch per foot. So a quick, easy rule of thumb is if you're going 100 feet, that means 25 inches of drop. I think I'm probably going to be a little over 100 feet, maybe 130, 140 feet, something like that. So I'm going to catch that pipe right there. I'm going to put a Y there, and I'm going to continue it on a few feet over this way. But I want to start going this way right here. I don't want to wait till the end to start going this way. So that pipe down there is triple wall perforated. You put the perforations on the bottom, and it's important that you kind of keep checking it as you're moving things around because it's easy to slide it. And it's a nice idea to put something to seal up that pipe and keep it together while you backfill. So silicone works pretty good. So by code you need at least 2 inches underneath of the pipe, and the pipe needs to be no higher than the top of the footing, and then you need 6 inches over top of the pipe. You put the filter fabric over top of that because that's about 3 feet, which is about what the filter fabric is. Usually when I get on a project like this, I'm going to be doing a lot more work afterwards. So what I do is I just fill it up, and then if it rains a lot, then it'll settle and I can add more towards the end of the project when you final grade this out. But for right now, I'm just going to fill it up. I'm not going to worry about tamping it every foot. Although if I was to just do the foundation and then I had to be gone, that's probably what I would have to do. But this is a lot easier because it will naturally settle, and if it doesn't rain, which it hasn't much, then we'll end up running some water on it. So once it settles a foot or 18 inches or so, then you just add some nice topsoil on the top, and then you're all set. But we're going to be here for a while building this, so there's really no point in me going crazy and tamping it right now, because we can just wait until the end and just add that dirt back on. So that's usually the way I do it, because I don't normally like put in foundations for people and then just leave. I normally would do the whole project. That's kind of where our company does the best. So we're gonna start backfilling this, and I gotta filter out a lot of the rocks. You can see here, this is what I was doing. I was just taking the excavator, and as I was digging through, I was finding all this stuff, and then I just take it and put it aside for now. And there's a lot of it in here, but there's no way that you can just come to this pile with a skid steer and just start picking up dirt, because there's way too many rocks for that. The rocks are kind of the majority in this, and the dirt is the minority. So there's my drain that stops there, but I'll just add another 2 or 3 pipes to go out to there, and then it'll be right at the level that I want it. And then we'll put something around it to make sure that nobody runs it over.
want to let her rip. My fucking husky all day.
we just got done grading this out for the time being. I already had it settle once, so it shouldn't move too much from where it's at right now. What we did was add some positive drainage starting right here. It's at like a high spot, but it's still pitched down from there, and then it's got like this little valley that goes that way. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but this pitches down into this valley, and then it pitches down in here, and the water just has a channel to go straight down this way. And over here wasn't really anything that we did, but over here the dirt was piled up right against the siding, so I took down a lot of that, and then I also pitched it this way, because before the water was pitched going into the basement. So now everything is pitched away from the building, and it goes that way and that way. And so there's a downspout drain, and also we'll probably put a T on that so that we can have the sump pump into that, only when needed really. So the water shoots down this way, and there's the well right there, and here's an outlet for that's just for the gutter drains. And then down here we have the actual footing drain, which there was just enough pitch for. It was right there, and that's the bottom of this field really, so we kind of got lucky on that. But I still got a lot of work to do to get all this stuff taken care of. It's mostly just rocks. Got to get that all in the woods. So I just put these little barriers around here just so that people don't run over them, or just in general not see them. So the driveway is a little bit higher than the foundation, so there's a valley that goes right down through here, but it really starts right here and goes this way, and then from there it starts there and goes that way. So this is like a valley going straight down through here and straight out that way, and then the water goes down into here and down into here. And again, same thing over here. The dirt, you can see it was above the siding before by like 6 inches. So we brought that down, and then over here brought it down even further so that it tapers out and drains out into there. So there's positive drainage off of everything that we put in, as well as walls that are next to it. And I think over here is fine too. So now there won't be any water going into the building. What I planned for this foam was on the bottom, it was all set level, and it was 1.5 inches above where the slab was supposed to be, so that you could take a 2x4 and lay it flat and use it as a screed guide, and that foam would be the guide for it. The foam needed to get here anyways, so it's easier while the floor isn't here, and it also acted as a screed guide. So we'll let this grade settle until we're just about done with the project, and then if it needs a little sprinkle of some topsoil, we'll put that on. But for now, it's already settled once, so the majority of the settlement is done. And so we just have to move out these big piles of rocks when I can get to it. Right now it's not too important, but you can see this is just one of the piles that we took out, and this is just nothing but rocks. And then I have many more piles just like this that we threw way over there. It's a good idea to also protect the pipe coming out of the footing drains, because you don't want animals getting clogged up in there, or just weeds or whatever. So you can also see that we made a nice straight line out of the tar, and the way to do that is use duct tape. Use the cheap kind so it doesn't stick too well, but masking tape doesn't really stick that well, so you use duct tape, and then you snap a line, you make a nice straight line, and then you follow that with the duct tape, and then you can paint over that with a brush or a roller, and you get a nice straight line for the foundation. And you need 6 inches minimum of exposure to the ground or the grade, so that's what we have there. And it just works out that we have enough pitch to do everything that we need to do, and it's literally a game of inches, but it's there and it's working. positive drainage off the building on all sides, gutter drains, footing drains, some pit, all together it creates a very dry basement. You'll never have problems with any kind of water. The water will always seek to the lowest level, which will be the footing drains at the very least.